Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help mental health professionals grow their dream practices and live a life they love. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building tips. We invite you to take advantage of our private practice paperwork and our signature marketing e-course. And we have a gift for you. This is the exact methodology we use to create our six-figure private pay practices and have helped many other therapists do the same. Go to privatepracticestartup.com and on the homepage, click the button to download a free copy of your dream private practice playbook. Now on to today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Startup Podcast. I am one of your hosts, and we're actually bringing to you a coaching mini series. So you can get a peek behind the scenes of what it's like to work with our coaches, but also just really hear one of your colleagues get some coaching on an area that you might be wondering about too and struggling with. So I'm really excited about this mini series. We're kicking it off with Ann Hosey. Let me tell you a little bit about Ann. Ann is a licensed professional counselor in Colorado who loves helping adults level up their grow up. I love that. With individual therapy, her specialties are self-confidence, neurodivergence, and early adulthood. Ann is also an amateur woodworker and has built or refurbished furniture for her home and office. Welcome, Ann.
Hi.
Hi, Ann. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. Good to be here.
Yes.
And that other voice is our coach, Dr. Kim Grosher. So Dr. Kim and Ann had worked together. How long ago did you guys work together at this point?
So Ann is coming up on her 6th coaching session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've been working together the past couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think we started in the early spring.
Yep.
Cool. So, before we hit record, we asked Ann, what does she want to work on? And we are actually going to be talking about her website homepage as well as about me, and understanding that this is a very visual thing and this is a podcast. We're going to try to make it as visual as possible so you can kind of understand the structure of what this would look like. But before we dive in, let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor.
Hey there, Startup Nation. Want to take your private practice to the next level? Check out Mental Health Marketing, a professional digital creative marketing agency designed just for mental health clinicians. From custom logos to professional websites and even a unique referral network building program, they've got you covered. They offer clinician-centric marketing strategies tailored to your practice's annual revenue, so it's always affordable. Book your initial consultation through mentalhealthmarketing.com and get a free 1-hour call when you mention the Private Practice Startup. That's mentalhealthmarketing.com. You won't want to miss this.
All right. So I'm going to let the two of you start because Kim has kind of seen the progress. So Ann's in a place where she's redesigning her website. And I'll let the two of you kind of start where you were, and then we'll dive into tweaking the current.
Yes, absolutely. So, Ann, I first wanted to have you share with our listeners, like, your journey even to getting to this current website revision, right? Because I think sometimes we have an idea of what the website process should be like or is going to be like, and it can be a little different. So can you kind of brief us on where you started and where you are now?
Yeah, sure. I guess I didn't realize what a journey websites could be in private practice. And I've had several iterations. I started with sort of the generic template on Simple Practice, and then had a local person design my website. And as I've grown, I've just realized that I need something a lot more robust. And at this point in my private practice, I need a website that's really going to work pretty hard for me. So that's the point I had gotten to in the e-course. And we had talked through some different options with that. And I had kind of researched different options and ultimately went with this latest version, which is a site through Brighter Vision. And I'm in the draft phase of that. So they've put together a draft that I can then edit, and then eventually we'll meet and kind of finalize things.
Awesome. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Where would you like us to start?
So I think just a little bit of feedback on the homepage. One thing I was thinking about the quote from the e-course, if you confuse, you lose quote. And that's one thing that's one thing I've realized as I've gone through the course is it's easy for me to get lost in my own head and in my own messages.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did want to get a little bit of feedback just on how clear the homepage is, and if you can tell who I like working with and who I think, has success in working with me.
Okay. Awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at the homepage.
And so
go ahead.
Pulling that up. And I just want to say a lot of times people struggle with what to put on a website, right? Like the tendency is to make it a lot about us, right? Like we're trying to sometimes prove ourselves or show that we have, certain skills or certain certificates, or we practice this model. And that's just a turn off to clients because they just don't know, right? So our websites should be designed to make it all about our ideal client, going with what Anne had said, right? If you confuse, you lose. If you're, a generalist, there's no clarity on that. And, one of the things looking at both your websites, your current and the one that you're creating, like it's clear who you work with. And I love that. And I love that, your personality shines through. I love that you're kind of using, like adulting is hard. Therapy can help. Like, I just love that. It's great.
Yes.
It's a great capture. So go ahead, Kim.
No, a lot of the same sentiments that Katie just said. One of the strengths that I noticed about you, Anne, early on is that you really are able to kind of use the language and really talk to your clients through your copy as if they're there. Right. And I think that's really important. And I think that's a draw. And so, right away, I'm all about images. So for me, right away, this image of like the green velvet sofa, like really speaks to like who you are. And also when we've talked, the type of environment that you're trying to create for your clients, right? This warm, cozy, like you can open up and talk to me. Everything's very kind of like natural, casual earthy. In a sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. And this is my first time meeting Anne. So that's what I was going to share is like, that's what all the feelings that Kim's talking about is what I'm getting, right? Like you're really down to earth. It's earthy. I learned that you're a woodworker. So, the beauty of, branding and marketing is that we get to infuse our essence with our profession and really make it shine. And I think you've done that really well here.
Absolutely. Okay, so right away you have adulting is hard, therapy can help, and then you go into mental health counseling for sensitive helpers, self-doubters, and quarter-lifers, online for Colorado and in person in Durango, Colorado. I think that's so important, right? Because right away clients know who you serve, where you serve, how you serve, right? And so I know a lot of times people want to start with quotes and, other types of things. And those
been there, done that.
Exactly.
Yeah, me too.
And there's a place for those, right? For sure. But right away, you want to let people know this is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I help. One thought about quarter lifers, the term quarter lifers is that, at some point, on this page, on this homepage, you might want to, and I didn't see it yet, right? But you may want to explain who a quarter lifer is, because that's a term we may be familiar with as therapists, or there might be some therapists who are not familiar with it at all, right? But that might be confusing to clients, because it's like, well, what is a quarter lifer, and where is quarter life, and what does that mean? So maybe kind of explaining that somewhere on the page briefly.
Okay. And you think that should be on the homepage somewhere versus in the like specialty areas?
Yeah, I think it should be in both, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things that I noticed, we really talk about, the structure and wireframing a website. Your website should be designed to capture the attention of your ideal client, which you've done in the headline and subline. And it also should be designed to keep them on your page. So one of the things that I would suggest on the pages is putting the resources, blog, any like links where someone would look and then they get distracted and go off somewhere in the bottom, which we call the junk drawer, because we want to keep them right here. We want them to stay right here, to dive a little bit deeper, because they're already identifying, you've called out who they are, and they're like, this is me, this is me, this is me. What's my next step? So just keeping them right here and not going any further. So that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead.
No, you go.
No. So I was going to say right away, I love how your next heading is, it sucks to feel stuck, right? So you're right away speaking to your client's experience, right? And, have you ever gotten a wheel stuck in the mud? If so, the more you spin your wheels, the deeper you sink. I think that's wonderful, right? Because right away you're painting a picture, you're connecting with an emotion and a feeling, and again, you're speaking right away to them and maybe what they're experiencing. So
it's also a very Colorado analogy because
that's great.
We're used to like muddy back roads out here. I feel like most people in Colorado have gotten a car stuck at some point.
That's great. And, you bring up a good point. I know a lot of times we talk about culturally relevant, right? And culturally relevant is not just about race or ethnicity or, nationality. It's also about geographic, like where you are and where you're serving. And so being able to connect with people on that level, I think is very important. Yeah.
And I love that, in this first paragraph, like Kim says, you're really calling it out, but it's a one sentence paragraph, then you have another paragraph, and then you give a call to action, which is great. And I think some people shy away from call to actions, right? Like, I know it sounds obvious, but if they've already come and they're already getting a vibe from your website, which I totally do, and I can identify with one of those, I might not really need to look at the rest of your website. I might be like, well, I want to hear what she has to say. And if she's the right therapist for me, and it already seems like it would be if I'm one of your ideal clients. So I like that you put that call to action in there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing I was curious about because I know I have a lot of call to action buttons, okay. And I was curious if you thought there was any such thing as too many of those.
I mean, if they were stuffed all over the place, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like they're strategically placed. And I know for me, like I get bored so fast reading website content. And so if I get a couple sentences and I'm like, yep, this looks great, like I would click that button right away. So it's also thinking about people whose brains might work the way mine does.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think it looks good. I think, Katie, you said you think it looks good. Like you said, there's obviously a strategy behind it. And you're right. I know I get really frustrated when I go to websites and I'm ready to like take the next step and it's not clear how to. I'm like, never mind. Never mind. Yeah. I don't have time to search and peruse and try to figure out where you want me to like enter. But for you here, it's very clear. So.
And speaking of clarity, one of the really important things is always to have the phone number on the top right. For whatever reason, studies have been done. Top right is the place that we look for a contact number. So you have a contact now button, you have your information, you have your phone number. That's great. Sometimes people do the contact now button that follows you down the page. Great, fine, whatever, that works too. And then as we continue down, you call out your people, self-confidence, the quarter lifers, the sensitive helpers, and then you're inviting them to learn more. So it's simple, it's clear. You're not going into paragraph form about trying to explain it on the homepage. You just, if you identify with that, then you can click this button to learn more. So that's fabulous.
Yep. Awesome. Just one other thing I want to point out that I thought is really important that you did in your second paragraph, Get Moving Again, you talk about what life can look like if you go to therapy, or if you get therapy, right? And so you're kind of, again, painting this picture of like, maybe this is where you are, but this is where you'd like to be, right? And this can help. And I also, again, we talk a lot about that, painting the picture for them about what is possible. Because a lot of times when people are in pain or they're struggling, they know they need help, but they're not even sure what that ultimately could look like, like what that end result or that journey could look like. And so I think you did a really nice job here of tying that in.
Right. And we talk a lot about the pain, the pleasure, the disaster scenario, the dream scenario. So it's really important because we do talk about the hero's journey. Donald Miller talks about this also in StoryBrand. All movies are written about it, right? It's like, here's where you are today, and I'm the guide to the bridge to help you get over here. And you know what? I actually might have been where you were before, and this is what qualifies me to be able to do that, right? But of course, we have to grab their attention first by connecting with them where they are. And then, you go down and you do meet your therapist on the homepage. I like that, and it's interesting. Like sometimes I love to put myself in the minds of a consumer, right? And it's like, I want to see the people who I might be working with, right? Yep. So you have just a little brief thing here. You make it all about, them. I love your use of color. You have black and then you have the green. So these things stand out, but you don't go into the whole about me page here. You have learn more about me. So that's great.
Yep. One last thing about this page. I mean, Katie, I'm not sure if you had anything else or Anne, if you had any other questions, but for me, just what really stands out aesthetically is just the spacing, and that there's space. It's clear. It's neat. I don't know. I feel calm looking at the page. And I think a lot of times people get so caught up with trying to put everything in that the page can start to look very busy, and that can be overwhelming, right? So, yes, I think you nailed that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm super grateful to the template that Brighter Vision has for that, because like it does make the spacing so easy, and I've fiddled around with stuff like that on other platforms and felt so frustrated. So,
and it's very different from your initial page. On your initial page, you do have your introduction to yourself, but you have 2 big paragraphs with less spacing.
So much text.
There's nothing that attracts my IGC 9 to 5 because it's a number. But, here on the new website, like it's just, it's a nice like staccato break, like it catches your eye, it pulls things. So that's really good. Yeah, and it's interesting as I look at your other website, it's not bad. You have the heading here, adulting is hard, therapy can help, but you didn't call out like you did who your ideal clients are. And so, we talk about everything being above the fold, and that means no scroll on the mouse, is that you need to capture who it is you work with or don't work with right then and there. So you did great there. And it's interesting that, there's still earthy tones and the yellows and the greens, but for some reason, your current website, your new website, the green that you chose actually feels more relaxing to me. So there's a different feeling in your new website that I experienced looking at it. So.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I agree. It's like a nice exhale.
Yeah. No, it's very, woodsy, warm, Colorado, relaxed. I feel like I'm going to have either a cup of tea or coffee if I'm going to meet with you, like with the warm mug. Like that's what I would experience, or I'm thinking I would experience working with you. Awesome. So let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor, and then we'll hop on over to the About Me page. Unless Kim, you have any other final thoughts for the homepage?
Nope. Sounds good.
As a therapist, I can tell you from experience that having the right EHR is an absolute lifeline. I recommend using Therapy Notes. They make billing, scheduling, note-taking, telehealth, and e-prescribing incredibly easy. Best of all, they offer live telephone support that's available 7 days a week. Look, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Therapy Notes is the #1 highest rated EHR available today with 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot and Google. Go to therapynotes.com and enter code PPS as in Private Practice Startup and receive a special 2-month trial, absolutely free. And hey, if you're coming from another EHR, no worries. Therapy Notes will import your demographic data quick and easy at no cost to you, so you can get started right away. Trust me, don't waste any more of your time. Go to therapynotes.com and enter code PPS for your 2-month free trial.
Your time is your money, so why waste it checking to see if your next appointment has arrived? Instead, gain the freedom to focus on your most important tasks with the Receptionist for iPad. This episode is sponsored by the Receptionist for iPad, the highest rated digital check-in software for therapy offices and behavioral health clinics. Thousands of private practices use the Receptionist for iPad to discreetly check in clients, and after each client has checked in, the system sends practitioners an instant notification. No more poking your head down the hallway to see if your next appointment has arrived. Go to receptionist.com/PPS, as in Private Practice Startup, to start your 14-day free trial of the Receptionist for iPad today. Make sure to sign up on our unique page, and you'll get your first month of the software free when you become a customer. Enjoy!
All right, let's hop on over to the About Me page. So just kind of a briefing on the About Me page. We say the About Me page is not about you. It is about you, but it's not really about you. So a lot of times, therapists, when they don't know the structure or understand what an About Me page entails, this is where we begin to list our accolades and our certificates and explain the model that we work from. And that's just like dizzyfying for a potential client because they don't know the acronyms unless they've been in therapy for a long time or therapists themselves, and they don't understand that. So it's again really about grabbing the attention, and we have a 6 to 7 step structure that we do for the About Me page. So Kim, I'll let you kick it off here.
Sure. So I did just want to add one little caveat about that, right? Because I know in the e-course, like you said, we talk about the formula and things like that, and it can be really helpful. But I do think there are times where it's okay to deviate from it. And again, that really comes in with knowing who your client is, right? And what is going to resonate with them. And I know for me, I don't always follow this formula because I tend to work with a lot of executives, physicians, like leaders. And so they are looking for your training and your credentials, and they do want to see that like up front and center. So mine is kind of structured in that way. But again, it goes back to knowing who your client is and reaching them. And when they reach out to you, they'll let you know if it landed for them or if it connected with them, right? So like what you're saying here, Anne, we want to see if like this lands for your ideal client when they reach out to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a good point too, Kim, is really knowing your audience and ideal client. And I should have added, there is a place to put those things too, but it's not usually at the beginning that we teach because we want to create the connection first. So good point.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So again, you start right away with like why they're here, right? And so, and kind of introducing like what life could be like if they were to work with you, if they were to find help for this struggle. And then you talk a little bit about what motivates you to be here, which I do think is important to our clients, right? Wanting to know, why do you do this work? And there's a way to do it without too much self-disclosure, because I think that there's like an art to that, right? Because sometimes people really go into their own story a lot, and it's like, I don't know if everybody wants to know that right away.
Yeah, appropriate self-disclosure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think you really kind of talk about like I love this. I know how painful and isolating self-doubt and low self-confidence can be, right? Because you're human, right? Like you get it. Like you, I'm a sensitive helper who had to learn to hold boundaries and protect my energy. I think you really did a good job of sharing enough to like relate to them, but still keeping it about them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. That was my hope.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And I love that you did like you are here because I'm here because, and then we're here together because. So it's very much, and your writing is beautiful. I know it probably still takes me a long time, but simplifying writing is hard.
It is really hard.
Yeah. And you do a great use, again, using the colors and the bullet points, right? So you're here because you're helping them identify, right? What if you could learn to stop struggling? What if you could choose where to put your energy instead of spending it in a fight? You can't win. So again, the use of bullet points is really helpful because our eyes skim, right? They don't read big, long paragraphs. So great. And you have the schedule
feedback from Kim.
Awesome.
That was some feedback you gave me, Kim.
No, I'm glad it was helpful. I love the nitty gritty, like you do, like Katie said, like you do want to kind of put your credentials and your training and things like that there. And so you have that towards the bottom, right? And it's really clear. This is where I went to school. This is the type of experience I've had. And I love, I have not seen anybody else do this yet, but I love how you put like your favorite things as images.
Do you like my cat down there?
Yes. Because I think that's a few of my favorite things. Like, I think that's like, me personally, I think it's hard to navigate that because some people don't care. Like they just don't care, right? They're like, I'm in pain, I'm hurting, I don't want to see
pictures of you looking happy.
or like a paragraph of like what you love, right?
Yeah.
And some people do, like, they use that as a point of connection. Like, oh, like, you're a mountain biker, I'm a mountain biker. I'm, like, oh, like, you like the same activities I do. Okay, so then we'll be able to connect on another level or build rapport faster, right? Because I feel like I can relate to you. And so I think the fact that you put images meets both, right? So if somebody's really not interested, it's a nice image, right? And it goes with the rest of your page. And if somebody is interested, it draws them in. So.
Yeah. And I'm hoping I can put some captions or something on those, just like a word or two of caption to describe the pictures. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you saw that, because I actually stopped at the About Me, the Nitty Gritty, and I was thinking like, oh, it'd be nice to have some fun facts. And then I scrolled down more when Kim mentioned that. So I'm just wondering how we could like make people not think it's the end of the page, because there's that reach out today console, and I missed it. So and I would love, I would love to know your cat's name. Is this, height, it's just fun little things that, are personal, that feel okay and comfortable to share. So Oh, what's the dinosaur picture? That's funny.
Yes. So I love any kind of dinosaur related humor, and we have inflatable T-Rex costumes.
That's awesome. And do you have a dinosaur in your office, or any dinosaur?
No, I have no dinosaurs in my office, but just
gotcha. It would be interesting almost to have these pictures in your office, like relating to your website.
That would be funny. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Did you have any specific questions about your About Me page?
Let's see. I think, one question I had is, should I have my name? And I know in the formula in the e-course, it says something about having your name and kind of a tagline at the top of your About Me page. And so I was wondering if I should add that.
Yeah. I mean, if you have it, great. If not, that's okay too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It didn't stand out to me as missing when I was looking at it.
Okay.
Not at all. Any other questions specific about your About Me page?
Is it too long? Like, no. I know there's a place at the bottom to do some testimonial stuff, and I was wondering if I should do that or if I should leave that out.
Nope. I think testimonials are really important and great. What people say about me, or I would say what people say about working with me, because that's really what you're hitting on. And then, there's another, your office hours are below. And then we talked about the junk drawer. So then the junk drawer would be below the contact information where the blog and stuff like that would be, just so people stay on your site. So just in comparing and contrasting, and this is a lot of times, therapists, we do this. It's like we kind of have this one website where we're trying to fit everything in. We don't have pages. It's not, clear. So you had talked a little bit about yourself and your About Me on your homepage from your previous website, but there was no specific About Me page. So great work there. Awesome.
And the junk drawer, does that go down in the footer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Below your contact. Yep.
That's where like my privacy policy and all that stuff will be.
Yep. Yeah. All of that good stuff. Cool. Any other final questions on your About Me page?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, Anne, we really appreciate you being here with us and allowing us to give you live coaching so others can kind of hear and guide through it. What are you taking away from our coaching today?
I think, that I can work a little bit on the homepage just as far as clarifying a few things, and that the About Me page looks good and could use maybe a few little edits here and there, but sounds like I'm on the right track, and 100%. I'm going to keep working on that content and hopefully get this thing up and going.
Yeah. And if you're curious, you can definitely check out I know that your current web page is in progress. So will it be Juniper Tree Mental Health?
It'll still be the same domain name. Yeah. JuniperTreeMentalHealth.com, but give it a couple more weeks. So if you want to check out the visuals of what we're talking with Anne about, you can check it out here. But Anne, we really appreciate the opportunity to do this with you.
Yes.
Kim, you've been great. Not surprising. It was fun for me to be back in the coaching seat for a little bit. And Startup Nation, we hope that you check us out next time as we hop on another coaching call with Coach Lauren Montgomery talking about a specific area of her need. We really hope that you found this helpful and useful. And if you are interested in really taking your practice to the next level, we definitely invite you to reach out to us. You can send us an email, Kate@theprivatepracticestartup.com, and you can schedule a consult with Kim and see if the e-course and coaching program is right for you. So thank you guys. And if you really like this podcast, wherever you listen to it, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, please subscribe, rate, and review. That lets us know we are hitting on topics that you are enjoying and also taking feedback to provide you the best content that we can. Just want to say thank you, everybody, and stay inspired. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.